He had everything. Literally, everything. 6 billion in the bank. Mansions on 3 continents. Cars you only see in movies. But when the doctors said he had only 3 months to live, no one showed up. Except for the one person he had destroyed. The person who was sleeping on the streets because of him. And what happened next will move you in ways you can't imagine. Marcus Harrington. That name made presidents answer the phone on the first ring. At 52 years old, he built a real estate empire by buying bankrupt companies, firing thousands, and reselling them for obscene profits. He didn't have friends. He had contacts. He didn't have family. He had heirs waiting for his death. And employees? He treated them like disposable pieces. Marcus had a special pleasure in humiliating one man. A man named David Chen. David was his best architect. Until the day he disagreed with Marcus in a meeting. Marcus didn't just fire him. He destroyed his reputation. Called every company in the city. Made sure David would never work again. 6 months later, David was living on the streets. September 2024. Marcus was in a meeting closing a $200 million deal when he felt the first pain. It wasn't a normal pain. It was like something inside him was burning. 2 weeks later, in the most expensive office in Manhattan, the oncologist said the words that no amount of money can erase: aggressive pancreatic cancer. Stage 4. 3 months, maybe 4, with treatment. Marcus didn't cry. Men like him don't cry. He called his assistant, cancel everything for the next 6 months. Then he called his ex-wife. She hung up on him. He called his 3 children. None of them answered. He called his partner of 20 years. Marcus, you've always been a son of a, you know what? I hope you find peace. Alone. For the first time in his life, Marcus Harrington understood what it meant to be completely alone. But there's something you need to know. Something that will change everything in this story. Marcus wasn't completely alone in that city. David Chen was still there. Sleeping under the bridge where Marcus passed by in his limousine every day. And fate has a very, very cruel sense of humor. Do you think if someone completely destroyed you, you could look at that person without feeling hatred? Keep that answer. You're going to need it. 3 weeks after the diagnosis, Marcus had to go to a public hospital for emergency chemotherapy. His personal driver had resigned that morning. So Marcus took a taxi. When he left the hospital at 11 at night, he was so weak he could barely walk. The sidewalk was empty. November cold in New York. That cold that cuts through you. Marcus stumbled. Fell to his knees. The bag with his medications rolled into the gutter. He tried to get up, but his legs wouldn't respond. That's when he saw. Across the street, under a torn blanket, was David Chen. Their eyes met. David could have turned away. Could have pretended he didn't see. But he didn't do that. He got up. Crossed the street. And without saying a word, helped Marcus get up. You're. Marcus whispered. I know who I am, David responded. And I know who you are. Marcus expected anger. Expected revenge. But all he saw in David's eyes was sadness. You need help, David said simply. Come. I'll take you home. For 4 weeks, David Chen took care of the man who destroyed his life. He went to Marcus's mansion every day. Not because Marcus paid him. Marcus offered. David refused. He cooked food. Took Marcus to appointments. Sat in silence while Marcus vomited after chemo. One night, Marcus finally asked, Why? Why are you doing this? David looked out the window for a long time before answering, because someone did this for me. When I was on the street, sick, cold, a woman gave me food. Took me to a shelter. She didn't know me. Didn't know my story. She just said, the chain can't stop with you. If it stops, it dies. Marcus started to cry. For the first time in 30 years, he cried. I destroyed you, Marcus said, his voice breaking. I took everything from you, your career, your dignity. Why don't you hate me? David turned around. There were tears in his eyes too. I hated you. 4 months, I hated you so much it consumed me from the inside. But you know what hate did? It made me even sicker. Even more lost. It was only when I forgave you that I could breathe again. Forgiving you wasn't a gift for you, Marcus. It was a gift for myself. Something changed in Marcus at that moment. Over the next 2 months, he did something no one expected. First, he created a $50 million fund for people he had fired throughout his career. Not as charity. As reparation. Second, he found every person he had humiliated and asked for forgiveness. Personally. Some slammed the door in his face. And he understood. Others cried. And he cried with them. But you know what he did for David? Marcus didn't just restore his reputation. He made David a partner in his company. 50% ownership. And when David tried to refuse, Marcus said something that changed everything. You gave me the only thing money can't buy. You showed me I could still be human. Marcus Harrington died in March 2025. But he didn't die alone. David was there. Holding his hand. And Marcus's last words were, thank you, for not giving up on me when I had already given up on myself. This story, it's not just about forgiveness. It's about understanding that no one is too big to fall. And no one is too small to save someone. Marcus had billions. But he died poor in everything that matters, until Could you reach out your hand? It's hard, isn't it? It's one of the hardest things there is. Write in the comments, have you ever forgiven someone who hurt you? How was it? I read all the comments. Your story might help someone today. If this story touched your heart in some way, if you felt something here, subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell. This helps us continue telling stories that make you feel, think, and maybe even change a little bit. Because in the end, the chain can't stop with you. If it stops, it dies. See you in the next story.